Mrs. Esther Safo from Edukro, Equiapem. I'm from a family of 6, and I'm the 4th born. Yes. I was born in Amanfro, a village near Edukro. Yes, that is where I was born. And then I began my primary education at a village called Orem in Asaman Kese. From there, I moved to St. John's Preparatory at St. John's ABC in a boarding house in Accra here, in a boarding house. From there, I moved on to, I wrote the common entrance then, and then I moved on to Insaban Secondary School. From Insaban Secondary School, I didn't perform too well, so I had to write my maths and then general science again. So I did that at Workers College. From there, I moved on to Abitifin Training College by then, now a college of education, where I obtained my Set A. After obtaining the Set A, I taught for some time, and then I furthered my education. I had my degree at UCC, University of Cape Coast. Yes, I did education, and I majored in home economics, where I majored in food and nutrition. From there, I came back. I was posted to Atomic, Kwabenya Atomic. I'm not from a rich family. Average. My father was then at Produce Buying Company. So let's say he's a cocoa crutch, let me put it that way. But I had an uncle who was educationist, so he was at the Koforidia Regional Office as one in charge for, he was a headmaster at Agogo. He came to Nsaba and then other places. Then he moved on to Koforidia Regional Education Office, who was in charge of second cycle. So later I had to join him. So he advised that I become a teacher, and I've not regretted being a teacher anyway. I really wanted to become a banker. I really admire them when they are the cage, the cashiers, the way they dress and then everything. So I wanted to do accounting, but I didn't do too well there. So I had to, because I didn't perform well, I had to rewrite some of the subjects, and then I ended up in a college of education. I really admired them. When I entered the banking hall, the way they were seated in a cage, the cashiers, I really admired them. Yes, it's just admiration for their work. But later, when I was advised to go to the training college, I realized that really that is my passion, and I have not regretted becoming a teacher. No. If money was the motivation, I wouldn't have gone to education. You know, teachers, we are better off, but we don't earn that much. So money was not the motivation. But my father, then my uncle, was able to convince me that I will take after him. So I promised him, with my rank, I'll bypass him. And now I think I'm a director. He was only up to deputy director also when he passed on. Yes, like every working woman, you know, you have to prioritize. And then even the Bible says a false balance is an abomination. So the mere fact that I'm working doesn't mean my home should suffer. And if my people here will bear me out, I always tell them, when I close from work, I am a wife, I am a mother. So I don't send work, my directorship to the home. So I make sure I balance. And with time, and Accra situation, even traffic can even stress you up. What you need to do is I do stuff on weekends, and even sometimes the weekends is more constrained than even the working days. You have a wedding to attend, you have a funeral to attend, and sometimes other engagements somewhere. So we do the cooking, we package everything in the fridge, and then you have to you have to be heating the food. And if it's rice, quickly, and then you are done. Yes, my uncle challenged me that if not anything, I should become like him. And he was at the region, and then was in charge of the SHS, now SHS secondary school. And so I really challenged myself to become. And then I also had a good vice. No, he was my education teacher. Mr. Ampedu is of blessed memory. He also saw some potentials in me, and he really encouraged me that I can do well, so I should. So when I came out, he quickly urged me to write A-level privately, and I registered for it, and I did very well. And so that jumped me ahead of my colleagues, those that I came out with. And then after doing that, I had my degree, and then that also I stepped ahead of my classmates. So most of my classmates are now in the ranks of AD1, AD2, even some. We were only two at my year group who have become directors. Yes, in fact, I was disappointed because I remember my mother introducing me to a friend who was a headmaster by then. And then he looked at my face and said, 5 years, is this the grade you could come out with in science and maths? I think maths I had 8, and then science that was 7 or so. He said no, and I needed credit to move on. So in fact, when he said that, it sank so deep, and I was disappointed in myself. But I told myself that I will never go exam again and fail. So I sat up and I studied. Once is the standard that has been set, all that I will urge them on is there is nothing that when you set yourself to do that you can't do. So once you know that without maths, without social studies, without science, you can't move to the next stage, I will urge them that it is doable. That is why these days a standard-based curriculum is putting away all those methods that put fear in the children. We had at the back of our mind that, oh, for science is difficult, for maths is difficult. But then, when these play-based methods are introduced, it becomes so simple, and then the children or the pupils are able to grasp the concepts, and then they grow with it. So now maths is not as difficult like we thought those days. And sometimes some of the teachers also make the subject very, let me use the word, humongous for the. I remember my maths teacher. He made me fear maths because the teacher himself, I feared him. So whenever we are going for maths, my heart aches. But now it's no longer like that. We are using play-based method and all other pedagogies that involves the children. And so as they play, as if they are playing, but it's a purposeful play which leads to concept being laid for children to grasp, and that allays the fear of all this. Okay. So science is no longer wondrous as we thought. My father's work was such that it's dwell in the rural areas. So I remember he was at Suhum, then he moved to Mangwasi, Accra, some villages. And so my father thought it wise, no, if I don't take care my children, they wouldn't get a next school. So my primary education was a bit distorted. From this way you go. So later when he realized that is when he sent us to boarding house at St. John's Preparatory here at ABC. Yes, so that we will have a smooth, uh, let me say, transition in our educational level. And it has not been easy. Sometimes, though he was a purchasing officer, sometimes provisions for schools and those things, it wasn't easy. You go to school with Gary, with your shito, and then maybe sometimes some one or two things of milk, and that will be the end. Nobody is visiting you till you vacate and then you come. But we were able to go through. And life itself is not all that rosy. So I just want to advise that you won't get it all that rosy. I wasn't born in that bed of roses. I had to go through. Sometimes in the village setting, you go to farm and all those things. And so I was a bit, let me say, lucky, or the grace of God. We were taken to the boarding house, so you'll be there, and then it's when you come home that the reality setting. But it's all has worked well to shape. Yeah. Well, it is not. Let me say, I won't say we are in a competitive way. Everybody is handling his or her districts, and so, or municipality. So it is up to you, or up to me, to step up the game, be on top of my job and issues bothering around my schools, so that at the end of the day, the schools are agreed when we go for BEC and then WASI, so that my schools will be on top. So it hasn't been a competition, let me say. But when we meet, we share ideas. So at this level, no, not at all. But we rather share ideas and then we forge on. So things that you are doing to promote your districts, when we meet, we share ideas. Like we have an association code, that is a conference of directors of education, and our chapter is the GAR, that is Greater Accra Region. And so we meet occasionally and then we share ideas, yes, as how to manage our districts. It's not been easy. When this municipality started, we were given, I was given only one office space like this room to be there with all my staff, because the assembly had to rent a place for us. And so I just said to myself, yes, the municipality has been given to me to run it or to manage it. It's up to me to work it out, to make sure the municipality comes to the level that I desire it to be. I'm our regional director, they are all looking up to us. I'm the first director. No, initially when we didn't have the office space and then the tools to work with. But thankfully enough, we being resourceful and innovative enough, we started with the one office space. So I was there with all my secretaries, all my coordinators and everything. So we started, and one of my officers had to dash us with a printer, a small printer, so that we can be printing our letters and all that. We can't say we will be waiting until we get all the resources before we start. So I urged them, we're using our own laptops to get work going. And so assembly had to step in at a point, and then they gave us this office space. And so far, so good. We didn't even have chairs to sit on. So we had to lobby, we wrote letters to our private schools to help us. Some philanthropists also came in, they gave us desks and then office chairs, and here we are. The assembly is now building its own office space, and so this one is a rented place. They've given us this 3-bedroom apartment to be using, and it's not bad. Yes, we have the Municipal Education Oversight Committee, and the Municipal Chief Executive is the chairman. So we've been meeting every quarter. So quarterly we meet, we discuss issues bordering education in the municipality. So one of our major challenge was that our schools were being used as thoroughfare, and then also because it's not fenced, we don't have security around it. This whoever the town folks or whatever, the community, they infiltrate into our schools. Sometimes they break through. You go, fans and everything, they are stolen, and a whole lot of. So we discussed this as municipal level, as oversight committee, and then it was put in the budget. That is how come the schools are being fenced. So the assembly added it to its budget, and now they've started. So once the schools are fenced, we know this theft issue will one. Like I said, when I'm the first director to start this municipal for education, and we had the personnel. We didn't have any office to work with. The assembly came in and they gave us this. We had no chairs, nothing to work with. But then through my initiative, we were able to write to solicit for help, and then help came, and so now all my officers are well seated. They have their desks where they work. I will not say we've gotten all the resources, but we are on it. Now we have some desktop, 1 or 3 to work with, and then also laptops to work with, and so we are on it. So gradually we are growing the municipality. We started 2019. I am a Church of Pentecost deaconess, and then I happen to be the women's leader for my area. And in Church of Pentecost, when we talk about area, the area constitutes about number of districts. So we have 17 districts in my area, and I'm the leader for the women's ministry. And we do training to equip the women with skills. So sometimes we train them in employable skills like soap making, detergents, and other things, so that they can also use it, work, and get income to fend for their homes. And through some of these trainings, most of the women have gotten work. Some are into pastries, others are doing this detergents, parasol, and all those areas. And apart from that too, we are building their faith in God, and we run retreats, marriage seminar, and all that for them. So I am not only a director here. When it comes to church issues too, I am so much involved. And we also train some of the girls. We look after them in school. So currently I have 7 children that we are looking after them. We enroll them in school. Being a director, I can't look on whilst a widow whose husband is dead and then the children are, no, I have to make sure they are in school. So through some of the efforts of the pastors, we enroll them in school. And now the elder one is at a Achimota SHS offering science. She says she will become a doctor. I want to advise that, in Accra we say Obrani Waraubo. And they are even lucky now. Education is free. Their parents are not paying any school fees. So they should take that opportunity to study. And this social media about some twerking, doing all that, that is why we have, even at our municipality, we have our educational girl child coordinators, and then we also have our counselors who go to the schools. We give talk, and then we try to direct them as what to do. So we are on it, and we know that those who will listen will listen. And you know, where there are many crowd, at least you will get one out that will go wayward. But we are doing our best. But we want to advise them that, I mean, success does not come in a silver platter. You need to work for it, and hard work pays. So the only thing their parents can give them is the education they are giving them. And thankfully enough, they are not paying any school fees. And so they should grab the opportunity. It depends on them to become who they want to become in the near future. But if you mess up, this is the foundation they are building for you. And if the foundation becomes weak, you know, when you build upon it, it will still collapse. The superstructure cannot stand. So they should see it as an opportunity that has been given to them. And it comes but once. They should grab it and then work hard and stop all this twerking and all those things. It wouldn't get them anywhere. All the successful women, all the successful men, they never did what they are doing. So they should look up to us. They should get mentors who will lead them to a destination where they will be proud of themselves.